Amy is an awesome leader, and we do that, like she was saying, we do those Friday morning calls, and I get so many great ideas from her, and I'm just been so encouraged. So when she asked me to do this, I was like, absolutely, are you kidding me? Anything for you. So, but anyway, let me share my story. I'm Dawn Andrews, like I said, like she said, and I'm a senior Ruby ambassador. I started Plexus in January of 2014. And probably like many of you guys went into it very lightheartedly, thought, yeah, you know, I saw some posts on Facebook and weight loss. I'm a mom of 5. And at the time my youngest was 3. And right now their age is 4 all the way up to 15. So I was busy. I was about 25 pounds, you know, overweight, and just thought, yeah, I could use the extra energy and a little bit of weight loss. So like I said, I saw some Facebook posts, totally made sense to me to buy in as an ambassador because it was $34.95. I thought, I'm going to stick with it. So I bought the welcome package. I bought the Slim and Accelerator because I was all in it for weight loss. So that's kind of, like I said, it was very lighthearted. So about 2 months into it, I started to realize the health benefits. I started to realize, hey, this is a lot more to this than weight loss. Started to really love the products and the way that they were making me feel. I honestly felt like I was in my 20s again. And at the time I was 39. I started sharing the products with my husband. One of my initial goals and sort of my whys was to help him get healthier. He was significantly overweight at the time, and just owning a business, constantly kind of stressed, and went to food as a stress reliever. So I kind of talked him into doing the products with me. So here we are. We're doing the products. Everything's great. About February of 2014, I thought, you know what? I can share this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for this. Started posting on Facebook, you know, studied the business model, studied some of the people that were super successful, and just sort of modeling what they were doing. So my business started to take off in February, March. So kind of grew very fast, was able to rank to gold and senior gold in the next month. So I finished up the month of May. So you guys, I'm just kind of tracking this for you guys. So between February and May I was sitting at senior gold, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be 40 in June. This is it. I love Plexus. I'm passionate about it. The products are awesome. This business opportunity is amazing. I'm all in. I was so all in, and kind of thought, you know, the Plexus world was my oyster, is kind of the way that I was feeling when that at the end of May. And so then in June, I'll never forget, June the 2nd, I went in for a mammogram. Now, you guys, it wasn't a routine mammogram, because what was happening was, as I was losing weight, by that time I had lost about the 25 pounds, like 20 to 25 pounds that I initially wanted to lose. I started noticing that one of my breasts was either larger or not getting smaller and losing weight like the other one. So there was something, I wasn't old enough for the mammogram yet. That wasn't supposed to happen until I was 40. So I went in for the mammogram on June the 2nd. And you guys, before I even left the office, they pretty much were like, ma'am, you know, this is not good. You have a pretty large tumor, and, you know, you have breast cancer, and this is, so anyway, so as you can imagine, that's sort of when the whole world sort of fell apart. Everything that I had thought my future was going to be, that 40th birthday in June, you know, looking at my future, it really all came crashing down. And so in that moment, really, because Plexus had been something that I was so passionate about and that I loved so much, and I had already seen so much momentum sort of up until that point, I thought that was one thing that I was not willing to let cancer take away from me. I just said, absolutely not. Sort of when the dust cleared and I stopped being angry and sort of in shock. And really made a very conscious decision for part of my conquering of cancer. Plexus was going to help me do that, and building my business, and part of just saying, you're not going to take that away from me, was all kind of part of what was going into my psyche and how I was going to build. But then what I started to realize was, so much of when I found out that I had cancer, I said, you know, the first thing you want to do is kind of say, why? Why do I have cancer? What have I done? And what can I do to protect myself? And so when I really went into sort of that research mode, what kept coming up and what was so amazing was that so much of what's in the Plexus products and what Plexus offers was exactly what I was going to be needing to, first of all, fight cancer, and then get healthy and stay cancer free. So it was just one of those things, those moments where you go, oh my gosh, God, you totally had my back, and I didn't even know it. I mean, he was preparing my body, my mind, emotionally, physically, in every single way, what which was getting ready to be the absolute fight of my life. And so I obviously, you know, when I get kind of goosebumps when I share that, because I'm just so passionate, because it's just amazing in every way. So what I did was I took, you know, all of my Plexus products to every, you can imagine the number of doctors that were involved in looking at my health and my Plexus products, the ingredients, you know, I told them about them. When they looked at the probiotics and the ProBio 5, they're like, this is amazing. Absolutely. Yes, you're going to need that. You're going to need that ProBio 5 for the steroids we're going to put you on, the antibiotics we're putting you on, all of these things that your body is getting ready to go through. The BioCleanse, which is full of magnesium, was what they would prescribe anyway when you're going through chemo, because it really it backs up your system and it really messes up your stomach. And so magnesium supplement is actually what they recommend to help with that. So I already had that in place. The nerve support, which I had been taking for a back injury, an old gymnastics injury, kind of leading up to my cancer diagnosis, ended up being what protected me from neuropathy. And you know, when I kind of share my testimony, I say, well, I don't really know what cancer and chemo and all of that would have been like without Plexus, but I know what it was like with, and not very many people go through chemotherapy and don't develop a pretty bad case of neuropathy. So I love, you know, I say, yeah, nerve support absolutely is protecting me in that way. So the X Factor vitamin, oh my goodness, you guys, that is like the immune booster, just crazy. And when my doctors looked at that, all those B vitamins that are in there, the D vitamin, which is really hard to get. D is one of the key vitamins that you need. Well, everybody needs it, but especially when you're going through cancer treatment. The aloe blend, all of those things. So I actually use every single product. So I actually have, like, part of my cancer testimony is I have every single product in the lineup. Now I'm really excited about the Omega X. I didn't have that when I was going through, but that's really great for that brain and heart health, because again, when you're going through chemo, if you've never experienced, you know, been with anybody or understand it, it's really, a lot of the chemo drugs that they give you are really hard on the heart. And they do a lot of testing and so forth to make sure that your heart can handle it. So, and also brain, because it kind of messes and gives you a lot of brain fog. So anyway, the products absolutely helped me get through my chemo, which was ended in October. And then I had surgery last December. I had a mastectomy. And then I went through radiation. And I knew how awesome our body cream was and understood this sort of that charcoal spirulina algae mechanism that it has in it. So I started really preparing my skin, where I knew was going to be really radiated, and would just kind of put that on all over where I knew leading up to the radiation. And so I went through my radiation, got very, very minimal radiation burns, which all the doctors were really amazed at that. Like, wow, your skin hardly even looks radiated. And I'm pretty fair, so they were expecting me to burn pretty good. But I really think using that active charcoal in the skin, making my skin so super healthy, really protected my skin going through the radiation. And then I joke around and say, and I went through 5 weeks of radiation, 5 treatments a week, and I didn't even need a nap, you guys. Like that is a true story. With 5 kids, radiation. And I mean, it was the Plexus Health. I mean, absolutely, because all of our products work so synergistically together for your body to be in optimal shape. So even going through all of that, Plexus absolutely was what my body needed to survive that. So that all ended, just to kind of give you guys a timeline, in February. And in the meantime, you guys that are Plexus ambassadors, this is the most brilliant business model ever, ever, ever. And if you don't believe that, you need to believe that, because I went senior ruby and senior gold in May. So even though I went through 6 treatments of chemo, so as you can imagine, I couldn't do team calls. I couldn't really do team trainings. I mean, I really couldn't really be much of a team leader at all. But because I had good people in place kind of going into that, those people were able to build and to lead. And so my team continued to grow. And so promoted to Ruby in August, right in the middle of chemo, and then continued that momentum into promoted to Senior Ruby last November. So that I just think that's really a crucial part of my story, is to understand, like most people, when you have cancer, And I mean, if you worked full time, imagine. And I've met lots of people, you know, that I've met in my journey that are other cancer patients who were going through chemo. They can't work. They you know, and they can't work and they lose income. And so they many times there's such a huge financial strain on families because there's no disability per se for cancer. But I actually had the opposite to my business. I actually continued to get a raise every single month because of the brilliant business model of multi-level marketing and promote my business. So so here I am as senior Ruby, like ready for Emerald, right, Amy? So we've been talking a lot about that on our senior Ruby calls and ways. And so now it's super fun to actually be able to really lead my team. So it's really starting in the spring. I felt like that was sort of my new beginning for being a team leader and really doing team calls and promotions and events and all that good stuff. So so that's my story now. And and I'm just super excited about the future with Plexus.
That is so, I have just goosebumps. I love your whole testimony and how you're saying God just was preparing you. I mean, It's just incredible. Like, wow. And I totally agree with you as far as the business model and how it's just brilliant. I love it. You guys, there's like no excuse. You know what I mean? Like, if she can do this with 5 kids, that's an excuse alone. So you did it going through it's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's incredible.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I'm obviously a very faithful person, and I think a lot of it has to do with prayer, because from the very beginning, and I'm sure many of you do this too, I really just prayed for the right people. Like, God, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I was a stay-at-home mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a decade. So going into sort of this business world, and that starting with what didn't even mean to start as anything at all, I felt like it was really up to God to bring the right people into. So anyway, that has a lot to do with it. Is God really putting the right people in place, and then continue and being for that momentum to continue. So I tell my team that I said, you know what. You pray every day, just every day, take some time out of your day to just really trust God in that. And when you do, when someone doesn't join your team, it makes it really okay, because you're like, you know what, that just wasn't the right person in the right timing. And I'm totally okay with that.
Right. Yes, that's so true. Wow. That's great. So another reason why I wanted Dawn to be on our call is because she, as you can tell, is a fun, bubbly, crazy personality. And that's amazing. And we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And you don't have to have this outgoing, bubbly personality to do this, because as you know, even on our own teams and even our own upline and leaders, everybody has the different personalities and different gifts that God gives them. But there's certain skills that we all have to learn. And one of those skills, if you guys have read the Eric Worre book, one of the skills he says is the skill of inviting people. So I was telling Dawn and telling our team this past Friday that our meetings, I feel like we have pretty close to 100%, I think, as far as our events that we have. They're awesome. Like, I love our events. I feel like that we have a really good thing going. But our issue, it kind of is inviting people and getting people to come. Once they come, they end up like joining and loving it, and it's amazing. The stories are incredible, but it's a matter of how do we get people there. So raise your hand. Is anyone else having that issue of getting people to come to your events? I know. So that's been an issue I've heard for some. So that's why another reason. Dawn, she's actually, I believe you're Celeste's level 1, right?
Yes.
Celeste went as her sponsor. So she's had some awesome upline, like we all do, but she actually got Celeste and Jen Hawkins to come to Virginia, right, and do a meeting. And how many people did you get to go there?
Oh my goodness. I think we had like 250. Wow. But a lot of that was ambassadors, but I think we had close to 100 guests.
Wow.
Which is really awesome. We really did.
Those guests don't all know who Celeste is.
No, and Celeste actually told us, so she told our team that was the most guests she'd ever seen at any event ever.
Wow.
Like in all of her days, yeah. So,
wow. So you guys know, like, the best way to learn something is to find somebody who's successful and do what they do, right? That's kind of been my motto. I think that's why I've gotten kind of so far, because I want to be teachable. I don't ever pretend I know it all. I just want to find people who are successful. So obviously Dawn is successful in inviting people, and somehow she got 100 people to come to that event. And you've had other successful events as well. So would you mind sharing some tips with us on what are some key things? And I have my pen and paper here.
Yeah, I made some notes too.
How to get people to come to your events? What's the best way to do that?
Well, first of all, that's really great that you're doing events, because I just want to say that one of the things that Celeste told me early on is events make money. And I said, well, if events make money and I want to make money, then therefore I will do events. And so doing events consistently is really, really crucial. I think we love the fact that we don't do parties. I mean, that was one of the things that attracted me to to Plexus in general and building the business. But having events is really important, and being consistent. So I'll just throw that out there. And then how do we get people to the events? And really, it's all about your enthusiasm, your excitement, your belief in what you're presenting, and then the personal contact. I mean, the personal. Now, so really putting a plan together where you're going to systematically invite people. Of course, we do the Facebook, and that's fine. You're going to put up on Facebook. You're going to create a Facebook events page. But then really reaching out to people. And that means sometimes picking up the phone, that face-to-face contact, if you can get face-to-face and let people know, it's sort of like, this is the most amazing opportunity. And if you come to this event, you are going to hear testimonies and an opportunity that really could change your life. Because when it all comes down to it, what people want to know, they're not so interested they're not just there in the products, the company. What they want to know is it going to work for me? Okay, is what you have to offer going to change my life? Is it going to offer me hope for whatever my need is, and whether that's for the health products or maybe that's for the business opportunity? And so really creating that value for them in that is super important in the way that we sort of present it. So reaching out to them, identifying sort of what that need is going to be. If it's for health, really communicating to them, like, there's going to be testimonies at our event that you're going to hear that you can really relate to, and then you're going to hear about how these products are changing this person's life. So understanding sort of the health needs of the person that you're personally inviting, and then also, of course, the business. If it's somebody that is interested in the business opportunity, really letting them know that this is an opportunity that they can't afford to miss. And it's just like when we're following up in our business. I mean, we all know the sales statistics say that 80% of the sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact. And so many people give up. At the 1, 2, or 3rd follow-up. So understanding that sort of law of averages, and that you have to be good at reaching out and then also following up. So once somebody, you've reached out, they've said, yeah, I think I'm interested. Yeah, I'm going to come. If they've given you a verbal, then really kind of setting it up so you hold them accountable for that verbal that they've given you. And some ways that we do that are offering, letting them know that you're going to save them a seat. So, I've got a seat saved for you. You're going to sit beside me. I'm looking forward to letting them know that you had that seat saved. Maybe offering a gift bundle, a gift bag, something that you offer to say, I have something really special just for you with your name on it. Letting them know that they're special and that they matter. And then when they understand that, they're less likely to kind of bail out on you, because you don't, and ultimately people will, and I'll go into some numbers in a minute. But and in a sort of gift bundle or gift basket, you might want to give a catalog. You could give a 3-day sample. A lot of my team members go to the dollar store and get little pink water bottles, and they'll throw a little water bottle in there. So there's it doesn't have to be major and it doesn't have to be expensive, but just something that's thoughtful. And then, of course, a handwritten note. I think that's always a nice special touch, with their name on it. So they know that it really matters to you that they come. And I think that's the most important thing that you can do, is let them know that it really is important that they're there. And generally speaking, let's say that I always tell my team about the law of averages. Jim Rohn is really good about that in a lot of his stuff. And an average means that it's a numbers game. I mean, much of what we do is sort of a numbers game. And Jim Rohn says, for every 10 that you reach out to, 1 is going to actually come, or is actually going to do something. And so if you want to get 5 people to give you a verbal yes, that means you might need to contact 50 people to get get down to where you have 5. And then if you have 5 verbals that say they're going to come, probably count on 2 actually showing up. I mean, that's unfortunately the name of the game. So if you've only reached out to 10, you might get a 0. And so if you decide how many people, whatever your goal is, my goal is to have 5 people fill in the chairs. Well, then you can understand that that's how many people you're going to need to talk to. And that's, how many verbals you're going to need to get those numbers. So, I'll kind of stop right there. Amy, is there anything specific you want me to go into?
Well, yeah, I have a question about that actually. So, but when you're saying 50 people, you don't just mean press the invite button on your Facebook event. You mean like personally talk to 50 people, or?
Yeah, I would personally message 50 people. We always talk about our list of 100 or however many people we're in contact with. I mean, our Facebook, most of them have hundreds and hundreds of Facebook friends. So pick your top 50 and do a message, and just copy paste it. It really doesn't take that long when you do it that way. You have a copy paste message, and maybe the first line is personal, because it is important. You don't want it to look like you're copy pasting 50 people. Like, you don't want them to know that you've done that. You still want it to look really, it's your dance mom. Like, oh yeah, I saw you dance the other day. I just wanted to reach out. Whatever. However you make that personal. But yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And so, do you make extra little gift things just in case somebody shows that you didn't expect? Or is your...
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good idea. So definitely. And let me talk about the Facebook events page, because you definitely want to, you have this event, you've got a graphic that everybody can sort of, you want to create a graphic with your guest speaker. Like our event that we had back in August, obviously that was a huge deal that we had Celeste and Jen Hawkins coming. So it really wasn't hard to get ambassadors excited about it. But even if you have somebody on your team that's sharing a really great testimony, get really excited about whoever your kind of guest is, and so then create your Facebook events page and promote that person. If it's somebody that has a really great weight loss testimony, then you want to, on that Facebook page, put a picture of them, and this is the weight loss testimony, and this is, their journey. And so you really want to build up your speaker, so to speak, or build up your speakers if you have more than one. So people don't want to miss it. I mean, you want to kind of create the environment where, like, if you miss this, you're really missing out, all the cool kids are going to be there, so you need to be there too. So it adds sort of value. So within that Facebook events page that you have, so you've got the graphic that you're sending out, you've got the Facebook events page. On that page, maybe like a week up to it, really promote a lot, really talk about different testimonies, talk about different products, talk about the fact that you're going to be giving away stuff. It's going to be freebies, and there's going to be contests, and, and then maybe like the day of, you want to post maybe the day before and the day of, post every hour, do a countdown, it shows up in people's it shows up in their notifications, so they don't forget. And then I heard Melissa Eichenhurst did a good video about events, and I thought this was kind of cute. She said she, right before the event, does sort of like, she knows, because she's been that person where it's been a long day at work and she's tired and she's thinking, I just want to go home. I know I said I was going to go to that Plexus event, but gosh, I really just want to go home and have dinner, and I'm hungry and I want to be with my kids and blah, blah, blah. So she said she speaks to that person right about just a few hours before the event. Like, right. I know there's I know you're tired. I know you're hungry. You're ready to go home and see your kids, but you don't want to miss this, because it could really change your life. So let's just get there, put the excuses aside, so she speaks to what those excuses can be, and you do that on your actual events page. So I thought that was kind of a cute little thing to do too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's true. It seems like when people cancel, it's like the hour or two right before the event. So that's good. I love that. Awesome.
Yeah. Or even message them. I mean, if they've given you a verbal an hour or two before the event, you need to be on your phone messaging them, either texting or personal, like, I am looking. Oh, another thing is really good to do, offer to do a rides. Say, hey, we're going to, let's all ride together. And if it's, I know Amy said you guys do yours at church. So maybe you say, hey, I'll pick you up. Let's go out to dinner. I'll take out, dinner's on me tonight. So you pick them up, you go out for a nice meal, then you go to the event together. So it's fun, and so it's something that people really, want to do.
Yeah. And what about one excuse that I hear is it the area that I live in may not, like, what was the area like? You know, do you live in a place where everybody loves to go to events and they're just, you know, I hear that sometimes people in the north are like, we just don't do this kind of thing, and you know, how do you deal with
Yeah.
that? Because you're in Virginia, so what is it like there?
We're in Virginia, so we're like in southeastern Virginia. I'm in Norfolk, Hampton Roads area, and people, I mean, sometimes I think being in a small town in that way would be easier, because if you've got a kind of a small town, there's not a lot to do, then going to an event, it's like, oh, it gives us kind of something to do and get out. But that's not our area at all. I mean, we're big and military, and people are coming in and out, and so it's a big deal for people to come out to an event. One thing that, like I said, we had that really big event with Celeste and Jen. So that one we made that a really big deal and a really big hoopla. And I also always suggest charging your ambassadors. I mean, not a lot, but there's sort of, I don't know. If you guys don't have to pay for your venue, maybe you don't do that. But I do think that, we did that. We charged ambassadors, so we were able to get a really nice venue. It was in a nice hotel. It was a very central location. Made sure the location was right by the interstate. I thought that was important for that event, because people were traveling. Also, it's just easy if it's not too far out of the way. But we do monthly events, and we have a restaurant here in, locally. Again, we're kind of spread out. We're about a 45-minute drive one way or the other. So we picked a location that was in the middle, so people, from whether you're in Virginia Beach or Newport News, could get there within 30 to 45 minutes. So it's in a restaurant, and we do it every Tuesday, or I think the first Tuesday of every month. So it's always very consistent, so we can look forward to it. The restaurant has a back room, and so we do it right at 5:30. So people, right after work, can just get there. They know they can get there. They can have a nice dinner, and then we start the meeting right at 6 o'clock, and then we run the meeting from 6 to 7. So people can get out of there and just, still get home in a decent hour to get their kids to bed or whatever. So, and sometimes we try to finish it up like 6:45 to kind of get everybody out of there by 7. So because you want to respect people's time, and those have been, I think, really successful, and we've had a pretty good turnout with that sort of timing and that dinner hour at a restaurant. And then what we generally do for that particular meeting is we do a training from like 7 to 8 for ambassadors. So anybody that comes in as an ambassador can stay for a quick 1-hour training, add a little more value for them coming out.
Very cool. And you follow Molly Orr, you said, right? Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, but Celeste and Jen have an opportunity meeting also that we use. So we kind of mix it up a little bit. So it's basically like testimony or product information, and do a testimony. We have a guest speaker at these monthly events that we do. So we have a one person that's a guest with a really big testimony, and then close it out with the business opportunity.
Very cool. Well, thank you. Yeah. That's amazing. Do you have, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have time for a question? I don't want to keep you too long in case anybody here has a question.
No, I'm good. I got all my kids to bed, y'all, by 8:30. That was a big score for me. So everybody in my house is asleep. I'm good.
Awesome. So I figured we could take a few minutes and maybe ask some questions. And then I know I wanted to hear from Lindsay. I'm putting her on the spot. Lindsay and Jamie, you guys had some high points this week. So I want to hear from you guys before the night's over. And but if you have any questions, if you're feeling shy, you can use the chat or you can unmute. So anything you have. It's always that awkward 8-second pause.
I know, right? I think I got everything. I'm kind of looking over my notes because I wanted to make sure I covered everything that I thought would be helpful. Yeah.
Awesome.
But events are fun, and they are. I mean, they do make money. So.
Well, I'm gonna.
Where are you guys?
Well, we are everywhere. I'm from Tampa. I mean, you guys, if you want to do your chat, tell me where you're from. We have. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we have people from all over. We have California, we have Oregon, South Carolina. Yeah, we're a very spread out team. The beauty of Facebook. But I'm going to give you guys, while you're thinking of a question, I'm going to give you a little hint. Our upline, this is something that I thought was pretty cool. Jana and Cindy, they're actually going to do a big promotion thing in December to try to start us off for January really strong. And so their biggest thing is like their big contest is going to be whoever schedules an event. So they want you don't have to have the event in December, but you have to have it on and have proof that you've scheduled an event. And she said it does not count for you to come to one of mine. Like, you've got to do your own. So I thought that was pretty cool. So be thinking of that. And now you guys have a little heads up, and you have some awesome training. So, oh, here we go. Oh, Long Island. I'm from Long Island. Jackie and I knew each other in like 3rd grade. Awesome. Okay.
I will add one thing too about what you're just talking about. Find a sideline to team up with. So it's not nearly as scary to do something like an event when you have a power partner. Like, it doesn't have to be someone necessarily in your own downline. Maybe someone that's at the same level you really hit it off with and kind of lock arms, and that person bring their team, you bring your team, and do it together. It makes it a little more fun and not so scary.
I did think of a question for you. Has this ever happened to you where you did have an event and you maybe didn't have anybody show up, or how do you deal with that kind of thing if it's not the turnout that you want?
I mean, I tell my team, I say, if there's one person there, then that's one person whose life could change, right, guys? Mm-hmm. I mean, all of us think about how much Plexus has changed our life in every single way. So who cares? It's one more person that got their life changed. I think that's kind of awesome. So
right.
I wouldn't spend too much time on being disappointed about the turnout. Just be glad for any turnout. And you know what? Right. If nobody shows up, then you think about all the things you learned just doing it, just stepping out of your comfort zone and going for it, and having to put the presentation together,
Yes. See, I love that, because I think it was Eric Worre. Somebody said there are no bad experiences, they're only learning experiences.
Absolutely.
I love that, because that's how I think. I know Julie, I'm going to put you on the spot, Julie. Julie, will you share what happened last week with Dawn? I know you kind of shared with us that. I loved Julie is amazing. Tell us about your event last week and what you ended up doing with it.
Okay, so I had an event last week. Well, we'll call it an event. How about I planned an event? And I lost count how many. I invited a ton of people. Had at least it was like 7, I think is what it was, verbal commitments. I mean, and people that I'd followed up with that day. So long story short, nobody came. So I was at my house, just my whole family cleared out, Yeah, I had done an elf themed party, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
And so I had prepared everything. I had prizes for everybody, had giveaways, the whole shebang. And so I'm at home in my elf gear with myself and nobody. It was really sad. So I just got to a point where I tears in my eyes and like big lump in my throat, and I was ready to go flop on my bed and cry my eyes out. And I just had a moment where the Lord was like, okay, you can either choose to sit down in this, or you can choose to do the next thing. And that literally has been my words this week: do the next thing. And so I really wanted to. I did not want to walk back over here where I'm sitting right here at my desk. I did not want to walk back over here and sit down and do a thing. But instead I said, okay, what is the next thing I can do? So I just decided to, I didn't want to post. I did not want to post on Facebook at that point, because I was like mortified that nobody had come. And so I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the next thing. So I posted and just did like a little thing with samples that I had actually seen a friend of mine do. And in my little elf hat, and just decided to be goofy and fun, which I'm really good at being goofy. And so anyway, long story short, I get to that night and I had, oh my gosh, what did I tell you, Amy? I think 10. Yeah. I had 10 potentials just from that one post. And followed up with the people who didn't come. I was very nice. And actually I've talked to some of them this week, and they're still interested. So that's a good thing. But anyway, from that, I probably would not have posted that particular thing. Number one, if I had just chosen to sit down in the misery of the moment, and I was determined not to. But beyond that, it was just from that, me not having the party, I actually, ended up having a lot of potentials and everything. So even when it's horrible, and even when you feel like a big loser and you feel like a failure, there's always something you can learn from it. I mean, I did learn some things, and have tried to go back and reassess. I will be honest with you, as you're sitting here and you were talking about the events, I'm thinking there is a part of me that goes, oh no, but what if you put all that effort in again and people don't show up and you're sitting there with a huge veggie tray? What's going to happen? But at the same time, I mean, I think that even if I were to plan it and do it again, I know it's okay. It's okay. There's still good things to come. So
I love that. When you think about that, you say those 10 people that you got off Facebook, if you one of those people or 10 of those people, I mean, they could absolutely change their life, and they might be, a diamond on a stage one day. We just don't know where the story ends, and if you had, God works in all kinds of neato ways. That's really awesome.
I want to say one more thing, because I thought this was great when you were saying this a minute ago, talking about how, that it's not the person that God has. And I've really been trying to take that approach even when it's hard. But it's awesome because I thought of a verse that I wanted to share as soon as you said that. That's been, as soon as I started my business, this is what God said. Because I'm very much like, I would feel like a failure if that person said no, or, and that rejection would bother me. But God said this, he said, so it's, and I have to look up the, where it's from, but this is the verse. It says, so it is neither man who plants nor water. It is neither man who plants nor waters, but God who makes all things grow. And so, I can only throw it out there, and I can plant, and I can do all I can to plant, and I can water those seeds, but God is the one who's going to make it grow. And if he doesn't make it grow, it's not supposed to grow. And that takes a whole lot of trust, but that just so went along with what you were saying. And I just appreciated that, because it's definitely fantastic advice.
Yeah. And another thing that I love, that I've heard, and I just stick, you know what? You pray like everything depends on God, but you work like everything depends on you. You just go for it. You just keep on going. I love that. What a great story.
Yes, thank you. Okay, is there any other questions or comments? Let's see.
I have a couple of things I wanted to say that I completely forgot.
Please do.
We do the regular, I was thinking, we do the monthly events, which are the very standard, but we've done other things that have been really, I think, successful in our team. Over the summer, we did this, where we did a yoga. I have a yoga instructor on my team. And so we did yoga classes, like free yoga classes sponsored by Plexus. And that was a really fun way to put a little twist on it. So we would do the yoga class and then do a quick product presentation at the end of the class. And we got a good turnout. So I think sometimes you can even think outside of the box, and even in terms of how can I add value to Plexus. And then I have another girl that's up in Maryland that does power walks. And so her event is she gets people together and they go out for a power walking session, like on a Saturday morning. And then she does like a little product presentation at the end of it. And so there's different ways that
cool.
You have a kind of a neat, cool event.
Yeah. Well, Julie's, the one she did that was really cute. It was like the elf rehab. Like her graphic was so cute. It was all about like the 4 food groups, the syrup and the whatever else there was. So hers was about, like, how to help the elf rehab, which is really a cute theme. So that was neat. So I hope you do that again. Have a better turnout. Because that's an awesome idea. I know Amber Sheffield. Let me ask you real quick. She's on my team. She should be Ruby super soon. But you're pretty good. Amber, do you have anything to add to that? Because Amber always seems to have an awesome turnout to her events, at least when I'm there. When I think her launch party, she had over 20-something people there.
You put me on the spot. I was thinking about what she's saying the whole time. I guess I basically invite, like she was saying, I do a lot of the inviting and talking to people in person and on the phone. And I don't just hit the Facebook button. I actually, the Facebook invite button, I actually will invite them first before I add them to the Facebook group, just because I want it to be personal. So I think maybe that's why, that could be why more people come. I don't know. I mean, there have been times that only 3 people will come, just because sometimes there's other things going on and people can't get away, it's just a bad week. So, right. But I mean, like I said, even if you have one, it's worth it. So, but that's what I can think of on the
Yeah.
spot.
That's perfect. Thank you. I know she's got to be used to me putting her on the spot. I think
I
at
know,
her
right?
first launch party, I was like, "Get up here and give your story, Amber," and she was like, "Ah." Okay, so awesome. Well, it's 9:42, so I want to end right at 10 o'clock. But let's see. Does anyone have Dawn? You are more than welcome to stay. I would love for you to stay, but if you need to go to sleep or get going, that's totally fine. Unless anyone else has a question. See. Hey, unless I don't want to miss anyone. No. All right, we're being shy tonight.
Well, I'll just say bye. I'm going to actually try to get some work done. I've been with my kids all day and I need to do some follow-ups to my own business. So I will, but thank you guys so
Thank
much
you
for having
so
me.
much. I really appreciate you coming on here. Thank
great.
you.
Yay. And we'll have to maybe connect at one of the events, Plexus events here in the future.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
bye guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. And so this week when I was looking at the points, I don't know if where I saw Lindsay. Is she still on here? Lindsay Case. Did she hop off?
I'm here.
Oh, awesome. Where are you? Oh, there you are. So Lindsay, you've been doing awesome this week. How many ambassadors? You signed a couple ambassadors this week, huh?
Yep, I signed 2 ambassadors and then I got 2 preferred customers this week.
Awesome. And so so where are you on the bonus, on the extra bonus?
Yep, I'm on the first level, the 150.
Awesome. Well,
So yeah,
congratulations. Did
thank
anything
you.
change this week, or anything click with you, or it's just kind of just been a good week?
I had my first online event this week. So that was big. Amber did it for me, so I can't really take any credit for that. She did a really good job. But I like what Dawn said, because as far as the ratio and inviting, it was spot on. I mean, I invited over 50 people, and I think 16 told me they were coming, and 5 actually showed up. And then out of those, I got 2 ambassadors, and then a couple people that are still going to order too. So
Very cool. Cool. So
she was spot on with her numbers there.
Yes. Wow. How perfect. So it's definitely getting out of your comfort zone and having an event. And yours was was online, you said?
Yes, and it was scary. I told Amber the first invite that I sent, I closed my eyes and hit the button and said, "Oh crap!" And then I prayed, and so it turned out good.
Was it like a Facebook party, or was it like a Zoom event like we're doing?
We did a Zoom event, and then I actually personally messaged those 50 people instead of just hitting the invite button. So I think that does help, like Amber was talking about.
Wow, that's so awesome. And so, thank you. And then Jamie is your partner. And Jamie, you had an event too, right? Was it your first Facebook? How did that go?
I did have an event. We just did a Facebook event. I teamed up with my upline Sandra, and we did it together. And it was just on Facebook. I did personally invite. I messaged a lot of people, and I personally had no one show up.
Oh.
So, but it was a learning experience, and we'll just have to go from there.
Keep going. Yeah. Well, hey, that's the best. I mean, honestly, the only thing that's going to stop you is quitting and just not continuing to learn. I spent this morning, I listened to Danny. I love Danny Johnson. I listened to her this morning. I didn't know this. Like, I just recently learned this, that she has a daily show. Do you guys know this? It's amazing. Go to DannyJohnson.com and then go to watch, and then her daily shows. And every time I think, oh, I don't need that, I got that. Oh, no, you need it. I promise you. Like, every one of them. And David Watson, is he on there? I couldn't believe it. He was on there. Like, he was on her show as her guest. And I was just like, what? Like, anyway, but the cool thing is she puts people in their place. So at first I was a little nervous for poor David, but she loved him, and said she was so proud of him. It was really cool to hear. But what was my point? Oh, that was the thing. And she's like, she said most people stop learning a new skill, or stop learning things, putting effort after high school, which is crazy. It's just like after you're done with college and high school, you decide to stop learning, and you just figured, oh, I'll just figure it out. But no, never stop learning. Like, the fact they're even on this call tonight, there's over 60-something people in our group, and we have 23 people. You guys are committed, and you're learning, and we're just going to apply this. So tonight, the thing we need to apply is keep having our events, and I would say the main thing would be pick up the phone and personally invite. So what I did, I don't know how many of you have told you this, but my very first event, you just got to get over your fear, because I was the only one in my area, I think, that even ever heard of Plexus. Nobody even knew about it. I was posting on Facebook, and finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do an event. I'd never gone to an event ever in my life. Um, I don't even think I went to other people's events hardly, because I just didn't really like this type of thing before Plexus. But I was like, I'm just going to go. And so what I personally did is I just, I think I did have a Facebook event page. I don't know, but I did call. I called people, and I was like, I really was just kind of like, please come, even if you're not interested. I'm afraid nobody will show. So I kind of played that card, but it worked. I had 16 people show up, and 9 of those people ended up joining. So that was my very first one, and I'm sure I messed up. I don't know, but it seemed to go well. I think I just had some of my customers. That's the other thing. I gave people jobs. So I asked some of my customers, please come and just share your story so far. I just need people. And then I had one ambassador at that time in that area, and I had her come, and she went silver that night. So that was pretty awesome. And Amber, did you come? No, maybe not. You came when Sunday came. So anyway, that's just kind of how I did it. But I've had really good meetings where we've had like 40 or 50 people, and I've had meetings where literally nobody showed up. I personally have had meetings too where there's been not one person, it's just me, and I just take it as, well, I guess I'm gonna get some work done. And I just go with it. Or I've had it where it's just like 2 or 3 ambassadors, and it's just like, okay, well, hey, we get one-on-one training right now. So my motto is just be consistent, keep being passionate, and keep learning. So that is that. So here's one other thing. Our No Gain campaign, if you have not been added to that and you want to be added to that, please let me know. Because I want to make sure everyone who wants to be part of that is. If you have a current customer who maybe is struggling, or a past customer, you definitely can invite your customers to that. I want you to. They could be part of it, or maybe ambassadors. The only thing is with shipping, I thought shipping was better, but it seems to be there's been some issues still. So I'm thinking even if they order tomorrow, it may not be there in time. Does anybody have a thought on that? So I'm thinking we're pretty much like, this is who's going to be in the challenge, the ones who are already there. But if you have customers who already have their products, or ambassadors, you want them to be part of it, please let me know. They can definitely be part of it. The other thing is I have Jill Awareness. She looked over our meal plan and approved it all. So I'm going to add that to our group so that people, if they want to start shopping, get ready for if they want to follow the meal plan. So that is that. That is basically what I have tonight. We have one more week with our challenge group. I think you guys have done amazing. Does anyone want to share something maybe about one of the challenges was calling a non-Plexus friend this week? Has that helped with anybody, or any stories you want to share there?
Well, actually, this is Alicia. I don't know if you can, Alicia.
Yay! Hi, Alicia. We can hear you.
Figured it out.
All right. She's tried the last 2 weeks. So
Well, actually, it was about the events. Like, I was really proud. I had one of my ambassadors. She's a photographer, and she had an open house this weekend. And I went over to her open house, and she added Plexus, and she had a couple people there interested, and I was just kind of helping her, talk to people and things. But I was super proud of her for just, she just threw it together in like 2 days, and I was so excited. But this week's just been like a training week for me. It's just been a lot of the ambassadors are ready to start doing it and just share, and I'm just so excited. But some of them are more advanced than I am, because I've never done network marketing before in my life, and they have. And so I'm very thankful for the team that I already have started. But no, it's just it's truly, it's following what you say, following what I'm watching and listening to all the time. It's duplication. It's just what it is, because I just am blown away by the opportunity and everything. And like I said, this week was a building week for me, but I know that maybe next week I have so much happen. It's crazy.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
So yeah, I was just really excited that, I actually have 2 people that are going to do events, I think, coming up, and we're going to do an event here the first week of December. So
Awesome. That is so great. I want to share some things too that I actually, Dominique, I don't know if you're leaving, but I said this to her today. This month, I don't know that I've ever, except for when I very first started, as far as reaching out to potentials and new people, I have worked like a crazy person. I mean, I'm telling you, I have followed up with everyone. I have done everything that I tell you to do. And normally I get a lot of people to join, a lot of customers, and I've gotten no one. Like, it's crazy because I think like, my mind is usually like, well, no excuses, and you just keep going, and, but sometimes it's just not the right time for people. And I don't know. So part of me is like, obviously I'm never going to give up, and I'm going to keep going and keep doing everything we keep doing. And like she said, sometimes it's a matter of, God brings the right people to your team. So I just want to tell you that I am there with you. Like, so my mind, what I was thinking today, I was talking to Dominique, actually. I said, I was listening, I don't know that I was frustrated, but I was just like, my mind in the beginning, I'm like 8 and 8. That's what I'm going to do. Like, nothing will stop me. I will get 8 new ambassadors. I will get 8 new customers. And I promise you, it has not been for lack of effort. I have done everything I've always done, everything I've been learned, everything right, in my opinion, but I haven't gotten anyone. So sometimes it's just something that's out of our control, But I will tell you this. I always think still, okay, am I missing something, or something I could be learning? So today, or what my next step is I'm going to be leaving, those little voicemail things. Listening to Danny Johnson today for like 4 hours. I was cleaning my house and I just listened to her all day. I mean, it just sparked something in me. I was ready to conquer the world. So all that like frustration and doubt I was feeling for maybe last week, I'm like, oh, why is nobody going for it? I have all these people on the fence. What is going on? So I just got this idea, like, you know what? I'm leaving them a voicemail. I am going, because most of them I have on Facebook and they're total strangers, and I don't. But I don't know. I just got this thing where I'm just going to voicemail them and just tell them, listen, this is an opportunity of like, just so they could hear my conviction, because I know they need these products. I know they need this business, and I'm just going to tell them that, and tell them that you need to invest in yourself, take a risk, Anyway, I don't know exactly what I'm going to say yet, but I'm telling you, I was fired up, and I was like, I don't know if anything's going to happen, but the month is not over, and I'm going to just give it till the end. And if it happens, it happens. If not, it's okay. We have next month, and we have the next 20 years. So that's just my thinking. But I want to tell you that I feel the same ups and downs as you do. I really, really do. And I just always think I'm still learning. I mean, I was a teacher. I'm in my second year of, my second year of teaching was not as great as my 8th year of teaching. You keep learning. So I don't know how that helps you, but Danny Johnson, I just love her. Whoever you want to invest in your skills, but just keep learning and keep growing. Okay. All right. After that little chat, yes.
Hey, I just want to tell you thank you for sharing that, because I am in the same boat, and I'm like, what is going on? And I thought, I've got this, 8 and 8, or even, whatever. It's just like
2 and 2 would be nice right now.
Exactly. It's like 2 and 2. And it's just one of those months. But I know that there's so much good going. And I tell my team all the time, it just may not be the right timing, but you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're working it like crazy, and so that's very encouraging to me. So, because it's, I don't know. I don't know. So I appreciate you sharing.
Well, I'll be honest, like, I'm such a go-getter. I mean, that's just my personality. I do not take excuses, and I'm like, they will do it. But it's just, sometimes it's just out of our hands, and we just do. And I don't ever want to run anyone over. That's what I have to be careful of, because I don't want to trick anybody. I mean, I believe this is the best products on earth, and I believe it's the best opportunity. But even my husband was like, from a skeptic's point of view, you got to turn it down a little bit sometimes too, And he's like, you believe it, because for instance, one of my best friends, gosh, it's just so frustrating. So she just told me all these issues she's having, and I'm like, you're kidding me? Plexus will help you. What are you thinking? And I just, like, I told her, I was like, I will bet my life that will help you. And he's like, you cannot say that to her. I'm like, I don't say it to no other people, but this is her. She's my best friend. And he was like, even still, like, that turns people off sometimes when you're a little too gung-ho. So it's like you got to just find this perfect balance, I guess, or just sometimes it's just not the right time, you know? And but think about it, guys. I'm telling you right now, if you're not been with us in a January yet, I mean, prepare for that. Jana and Sunday, that's what they're doing, these event things. Everyone, you work hard right now and you will see the fruit of it in January and February. I mean, it is crazy. Usually I do a big promotion with a company, but you know how it is. Everybody wants that big you know, New Year's resolutions. And I think it's what's so awesome with our No Gain campaign is we're going to have some testimonies to share. So be consistent for your, I mean, this is, I don't know, I've got 3 minutes. Pray for me, pray for each other that we are consistent. Like I know what to do, so I just got to do it, you know, like as far as my weight loss and just eating healthy. And imagine January 1st, we have all of our team members with these amazing weight loss stories. Like Stacy last year, she lost like, I don't know what she said, 15 pounds during the holidays. So, I mean, imagine that. Hey, here's what we did. Imagine what you can do when you try. So, I don't know. Anyway, well, I'm excited. And I know we're going to end this year with a bang. And next year, I mean, January is going to be huge. So, all right. Wait, real quick. Has everybody registered for Super Saturday? Have you? Raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, that is so important. You could bring guests even. So, oh, I see Alicia has raised her hand. Yes, Alicia. I'm a teacher. I don't know what that means. Lower hand. That's a new feature for me. But Alicia, if you have something to say, by all means, please do.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
This is Julie.
Oh, hey.
And this is just going back to the events really quick, or kind of like that. Do you sit down, and anybody can answer this really, I guess, if you have the experience. Do you sit down and like plan out, say, the next month for WOW events, or kind of, you know, because I know that sometimes it's a little bit go with the flow of what's happening or not happening as to whether, you know, you really need maybe to do a certain number of events or whatever. But like, you know, because I'm just trying to look and figure that out just from a business perspective. Is it better for me to sit down and plan out the month, even in regard to events, what themes, maybe the kind of things that I'm posting? I mean, what's your advice on that?
I think it is very good to plan. And I'm not an organized person usually, but I do have my little planner, and I do try to, I mean, as far as our month, this is what I do. Every month I have our monthly event, our live event that I do for my team. That's like our opportunity event. I'm going to do that once a month. I try to do either a Zoom event or a Facebook event for our teams and for different individuals. Like if I really recommend everybody doing a launch party when they first join, so with your friends and family and your upline or whatever. So I do some of those for my teammates. But as far as yeah, I do try to get it all. I try to schedule my 3-way calls. I don't work Tuesdays and Wednesdays personally. At least in the evenings. I'm trying to be better during the day, but at least in the evenings I don't work those 2 days. So my personal Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays fill up pretty quickly. So I try to get those. I don't know if that helps you, but I do try to like get my calendar out and map everything out. I try to be consistent with at least having an opportunity meeting once a month. So I have all these ideas in my head too. Like I loved Amber's coffee chat thing. That I want to do something like that. Like I want to do a play date one, like once a month, and then the next, like, you know, do them bi-weekly, and one be a play date during the day for moms at a park or something, or Chick-fil-A, and then at night. Because I thought that went really well. Where's Kelly? Kelly on here? I thought that went really great because Kelly and I got to really hang out, and she got to know Gina really well. And so yeah, Kelly, you have a question? Go for it.
When somebody does preferred customer, does that mean that they set the date of when they want their products to ship?
I think they definitely can set the date. But I think it just naturally is the date.
Daddy's making rice and meat. Korean meat.
Sorry. This is funny. Hi, Laura. Nice to meet you. Anyway, So Kelly, I think they can change the date to whatever they want, but it naturally will go to the day that they ordered. It'll go on the next month.
Okay, thank you.
So, alrighty. Well, it's 10:01, so I'll let you guys go. I know some of us, it's late for you, and so thank you, girls, and I think just girls, for being on this call, and I hope you took some things from it. I will post our last challenge before I go to bed tonight for the week, and I am very proud of you guys. So, have a great night. Bye.